Hello, welcome to our channel as we adjust our camera. Very, very interesting day. Very interesting day. Trump overturns the United Nations as the largest sunspot in decades slams into Europe. But the coronal mass ejection is not here yet. It'll hit within a few hours, so be careful. People are going to get agitated. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Japanese bond market is melting up, which means that their interest rates are going higher and higher. For years, since 2012, they've enjoyed 2% and 1% interest rate on their bonds. So they could make debt, and not barely pay on it. Well, in the last 2 years, because of the Rothschild, their interest rates have gone up to 4%. Now they're having to pay interest on their debt, and they don't like it, and they can't afford it. So Japan's in deep trouble. They had a bond sell-off yesterday. Nobody bought their bonds. Just like the United States, the only people buying our bond are the Federal Reserve System, because the United States merged with the Federal Reserve System. So the Federal Reserve System buys U.S. Treasuries. How does that work if they're the same company? They just make stuff up. They just make it up. Oh, we're in debt to the Rothschild, $1 trillion, $1 billion, 1,000. They just make it up. Anyway, the Japanese bond market, which is melting up, with interest rates over 4%, it's forcing silver and gold up and up and up. Silver's up to 94. It's almost at 100. Gold's at 47.47 or 47.46. Roughly, it's going to 4,800. Silver's going to 95. I'm not a financial expert. That's what I got from Noble Gold. I do these ads for free. It all goes into the nonprofit. I never see a dime of it. Doesn't pay our rent. Doesn't pay our utilities. The business does pay for the internet, though. So other than that, I never see a dime of it. So I'll tell you the truth. I'm investing in gold and silver because I need a portfolio that's insured, and I want to be prepared for the future. And the future's now. And if you're not in gold and silver, if you're in the stocks, you risk, you're 45, 50, 55. The stock market goes down. In the 30s when it went down, it took 10 years just to recover. I don't want to spend 10 years trying to have my investments recover, let alone being seized by the FBI for telling the truth. And they could do that to you too, just because you say something off the cuff at work. I want my investments in a safe, locked up, off-site. Anyway, I call Noble Gold 877-646-5347 because I don't want any of that fake silver. I see it out there being sold. I don't want any fake gold. I don't want any platinum that's fake. I don't want any fake palladium. I want them to run that through the machine, and I want to say pure silver, pure gold, whatever. Morgan dollar. I don't want any fake iron Morgan dollars. You can buy them, $3 a piece, $5 a piece for a fake Morgan dollar. They're all over the place. I've seen them on eBay. Anyway, so I go to Noble Gold because, and by the way, this increase in bond rates is causing hyperinflation, which is causing gold and silver to rise, and it's not going to end anytime soon. We don't have anybody in the country, in the White House, that's smart enough to figure out how to solve the problem. So anyway, gold and silver is going to go up, up, up. Oh, they might downgrade it a little bit because of buy-offs. They've been talking about that for years. We're going to crash it. We're going to crash it. Yeah, right. Eat my shorts. Anyway, the largest sunspot, sure they could. They could make it each worth $1 a piece. But the pressures are so high, they had a failure to deliver. It's not in the news. The news will not talk about this because the news is all bought and paid for by your taxes through the Department of War. And even, that's who funds the conservative folks. Anyway, the largest sunspot in at least 50 years fired on the Earth yesterday. It was a prolonged coronal mass ejection. Didn't cause very many problems in Europe, just a lot of auras. But the coronal mass ejection should hit the Earth in a couple of hours, and it's going to cause you and your animals. Jane asked, hey, what, sorry, they're still spraying on us. I can't stop. Pig set. What's it going to do to the animals and the people? Well, it's going to cause you to get agitated, irritated, and need sunglasses and a hat. We said years ago, you're going to need a hat and sunglasses for driving. We have the fog that used to be in San Francisco. As the sun puts out different frequencies and gets hotter, the things are moving north, so we're getting San Francisco fog, but we won't see very much of it. But today, expect some communication interruptions and internet interruptions. But anyway, this is not the sunspot we've been watching. We still expect something big to happen, but this sunspot just appeared out of nowhere. And Trump stated that Tampon Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, should be arrested. That Don Lemon, for going into a church, should be arrested. Oh, they're going to throw KKK law charges at Don Lemon. Basically, they were having a quiet church service, and all these terrorists marched in and upset the church service. Not a one of them was arrested. Not a one. Shows you how worthless the cops are in Minnesota. Well, heck, we have the highest murder rate in Tacoma. Shows you how worthless our prosecutors are. Anyway, he said they should be in jail. Why is Don Lemon not in jail? Because he was a CNN news broadcaster and gave his life over to Lucifer to become a news broadcaster? Is that why he's not in jail? Because he worships the devil? Same with the governor of Minnesota, because Tampon Tim worships the devil? Nobody knows. Right now, in Minnesota, they've arrested over 10,000 illegal aliens. Why are they not deported? Why are they still in this country? Why do illegal aliens have access to the courts? When I was in the Ukraine, I didn't have access to Ukrainian courts. When I was in Russia, I didn't have access to the Russian courts. When I was in the Dominican Republic, I had no access to the Dominican courts. Why do Minnesota illegals have access to the U.S. courts? Because like when I went into Seattle, chief prosecutor, the chief judge's office, he was the head of the satanic cult. Because the devil rules. And there's nothing you can do about it, except realize that Trump is not overturning anything. Not in the court system. He has the power to, but he's not, and he's not gonna. Him and Susie Wiles don't have the guts to turn this country back over to God. Anyway, Tina Peters is 70 years old. She's the county clerk in Mesa County, Colorado. She noticed voting irregularities, recounted the votes, and said the governor, Jared Polis, was elected based on fake votes. She was promptly arrested at 70 years old, fired and arrested. Yesterday, the guards attacked her. I watched the video. The guards attacked her and threw her in solitary confinement. President Trump pardoned her. Why is the governor not in jail, Donald John Trump? Why is the governor of Colorado not behind bars? And why is Tina Peters at 70 still in jail? Why is she in solitary confinement? You pardoned her. Why did the governor of Colorado ignore you? Why is he not in jail? That's a treasonous offense. United States Code 18, punishable by 10 years in prison plus a fine. Why is he not in jail, President Trump? You said these people should be in jail. Why don't you do something? Because nobody's listening to you. You told God to go piss up a rope, and God said, fine, nobody's going to listen to you. So that's what's happening with Tina Peters. Trump needs to get his head out of his rear and arrest the governor of Colorado and the governor of Minnesota, Oregon, California, Washington, Hawaii, Massachusetts, Illinois, and Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Get your head out of your butt, President Trump. You got octal rectilitis with a cranial inversion. You got your head so far up your butt you can't see straight. You got to polish your belly just to see. Take your head out of your rear and start arresting these people. That's what you're supposed to do. Hello? Department of Homeland Security, United States Code 5, Section 101 through 105. You control the Department of Homeland Security. Order them to arrest the governors. If they don't, throw them in jail. But you can't, can you? You won't. You won't arrest them. You won't even decensor me. You won't even get me my retirement. Even though we try and save your life. Because at the top in the White House, their Jesus is the devil. There's no doubt about it. He can stand there and talk all he wants, but he does nothing. But he did do this. He went to Davos, and he's going to read a speech where he formed the Board of Peace, UN Resolution 2803, passed November, which creates the Board of Peace. You have to pay $1 billion to be on the Board of Peace forever. So once you pay your $1 billion, you can be there for free forever. Send a representative to the Board of Peace. Already a dozen countries have said, yeah, I want to join. They want the Board of Peace. Well, Francis Macron refused. I'm not joining the Board of Peace. You can't have $1 billion. See, they just pull this $1 billion right off a computer. Oh, we only have $10 in that account. Let's add some zeros. Boom! Suddenly, they have $1 billion. Francis Macron said, the one who married his uncle, yeah, the freak, he said, and they proved in the French Supreme Court that she's a he. Just like Jackie Kennedy had an Adam's apple, Jackie Kennedy was a he. It's all a big show up at the top. It's all a big game. Just like Obama's wife, Michelle, is a boy. Mike Levon, Oregon State University, number 44. For president, number 44. It's all a big game. It's all a giant game that they play with you. They have boys marrying boys and girls marrying girls. The destruction of the family and public education and the killing of Christians are the 3 precepts of the devil. So when Don Lemon went into a Christian church and disrupted it, the police didn't come because those are the 3 precepts of the devil. Trump won't arrest Tampon Tim Waltz because he worships Lucifer. Human sacrifices, the whole works. He won't arrest the governor of Colorado because he worships Lucifer. He won't arrest Don Lemon because he worships Lucifer, the devil. He won't arrest Fannie Willis. Fannie. He won't arrest her because she worships the devil. He can't arrest her. So she won't be arrested. Anyway, so Trump went in there and announced that he's taking over the Board of Peace and that there will be peace on this world, to which the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres stated he's run roughshod over the international order, undermining global order. Now, he didn't say this, but I read the devil's letters. How dare he overturn war? We need war for 300 years. That's what the devil says. That's what we'll have. You can't overturn the world order, Donald Trump. That's what he said. We'll see what happens. I'm a reporter. I tell the truth. I look at it from God's perspective. I look at what's coming because God shows me what's coming. And I don't deal with any of these, quote, prophet people because they're all telling fake things that are coming and they never come true. I don't want to deal with people who want to put their name up in lights. I'm here to tell you the truth, to stop the coming nuclear war. That's all. God bless. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for coming, and we'll try and see you tomorrow morning.